People deluded, I'm back again. Now, obviously, you lot know I have an extreme bias when it comes to Vontae-Daley-Campbell. It's no secret. I like the man as a footballer. I like how he carries himself off the pitch. I like what he brings to the table on the pitch. If you've watched him, going forward, he's very good. He's not a left back, but he can be used out there. Right hand side, he's very good. I mean, obviously the contexts were different, but if you compare how he played against Callum Hudson-Odoi in the FA Youth Cup and how Bellerin fared against him in pre-season, Vontae did very well. He put in a good account of himself at the under-17s Euros, probably overshadowed by Amici and probably Saka to a degree, but still, as an Arsenal fan, how often do you see defensive prospects come to the club and have genuine first-team potential? Not often. It's mainly cams and these creative players that come through. He's homegrown as well. Local lad. Fair enough, he's from South Brixton, but local lad. It's sad, man. I honestly believe that he's going to leave the club, in my opinion. I've said this for a while, and I think he's going to leave. Like I said, he's highly capped at youth level. He's obviously one of the standout players at Arsenal, in my humble opinion anyways, when you look at prospects. I think he's going to depart the club. I've said this to you lot, people. And as I sit here, just for context, Man United versus PSG is at half-time. But as I sit here, I think James Olayinka now, he's a decent player. Came up playing as a central sort of midfielder sort of player, as well as the flanks. He could play in both of them. But if you his thing, yeah, like he's been at under 23 level at least. He's been playing at fullback predominantly, and he signed a new deal. I think he's a year older, forgive me, than Vontae-Daley-Campbell. I could be wrong, and they could be the same age, but he's not a right back by trade. Under 23 levels, he's held that down. Now, if he signed a new deal, that means at least for the next season or however long he signed it, that's their man at under 23 level. Vontae's been restricted to under 18s, hasn't had a look in at under 23s. I can't understand why, but hasn't had a look in, doing his thing for the under 18s. Couldn't understand why he didn't start against West Brom in the FA Youth Cup. I assumed he was injured. I don't know if my claim or what I'm thinking is true. If he just genuinely didn't start, that's really concerning, man, because Swanson, I know he's been doing well on both flanks and he can play a couple of roles. But Vontae, for me, is better than him. Vontae-Daley-Campbell is not perfect, of course. But for me, genuine potential. And I think he's going to leave the club. His contract's up. It was telling in the sense that James Olayinka plays as a fullback in his position at under 23s level. January the 29th, I believe, of this year, forgive me if I'm wrong, it's announced he signed a new deal. Well, you've heard nothing of Vontae-Daley-Campbell, so does that clearly show you the club don't rate him? If he's not getting a look in at under 23s, if he's not getting a new deal, what's going on? Because it's not like it's an ooey and ahhee thing, and I'm not saying he's going to be the best right back in the world or in the Premier League. I just think that's someone that has potential to progress, and you never know how good players can be unless you give them a chance, and I see a lot of promising signs. This is a man who you were seeing along with Okonkwo and I think Tyrese John-Jewell, they're being chased by a lot of abroad clubs. Now, for him, he's got a fantastic opportunity because, for me, I think he's going to prove Arsenal wrong. I want him to prove Arsenal wrong. Like, you know, with me, people, I want these young players to have careers, whether it's at Arsenal or elsewhere. Just the fact that they're earning a living as professional footballers would be good enough for me. I don't think he's going to be one of them where he's going at exit trials and things like that. He's going to have a whole host of clubs. Like I said, Leipzig and a couple other foreign clubs are after him if you just look at reports. So he's going to have a fantastic opportunity. I'm sure clubs in the homeland or in England will want him and he'd maybe want to stay. But if I was him personally, considering that clubs abroad have been looking at you, I'd consider that as an option. I'd liaise with Nelson and Sanjo and other English players around my age and asking about the way of life out there. I would take to it, man. At a young age as well, you're still young enough to come back as well. If I was him, I'll move abroad, man. I want him to prove us wrong. Well, not even me wrong. Why am I saying me? Because I rate the guy. Like, I want him to prove Arsenal wrong. Football's a funny old game of politics, and I don't know what's going on beyond the scenes, but if the men that make the decisions deem that they don't rate him, or if he doesn't have any potential to have a future here, it's ridiculous. And I must admit, they must really not rate him as well, because if they don't want to give him a new deal, let's just assume 2 years minimum. He's 17, 18, 2 years minimum. Lichtsteiner's getting on a bit. Maitland-Niles, I'll say Maitland-Niles has made that spot his own, because if Bellerin's not there, it's him. You've got Bellerin. Jenkinson probably has to stay for the homegrown purposes and stuff like that, but you've got Jenkinson and he doesn't realistically feature. So you've got question marks over 3 players being used at fullback. Obviously, Bellerin's the number one. You would think the opportunity to bring through someone, there's an opportunity there. There's an opportunity within the next 18 months, progress to the under-23s, possibly train with the first team. Love for him to make his debut, but just being with the first team, seeing the sharpness day in, day out, training, probably testing yourselves against tricky customers in their attacking options we have in the club. Even someone like, no disrespect, but even playing against in training, someone like Denis Suarez consistently would improve him more so than playing with his age mates under 18s level. It's sad. I don't even say I hope the club know what they're doing, but I hope whoever's making this decision is prepared to eat humble pie, because I do think we'll regret this. I don't know, I can't predict the future, but I know that's a young man that's going to have a decent career, and I support him all the way, man. I probably guarantee in my head, I think I can guarantee in his head he probably wants to stay at the club, but you can't stay if they don't want to give you a new contract, and I think it's telling. Only him and the club and people around him know what his future holds. I don't know any of that or know anybody that would know that, but I just see someone with a lot of potential, and I see someone that wasn't given a new deal I see someone that wasn't given a new deal. I see someone that's been stuck at under 18s level, not unfairly not given it under 23 looking. And if you're looking at as Vontae-Daley-Campbell, you're seeing someone that's not a right back playing consistently and held down that right back position at under 23s level without a doubt. It's sad. So yeah, man, maybe just this team they don't rate him enough, and it's sad, man. I just want him to go and prove everybody wrong, in my opinion, anyways, because I believe in him. But yeah, man, Vontae-Daley-Campbell, keep your head up, man. Use this disappointment, if it is any disappointment, to prove people wrong. I think you're going to the top. I think you're gonna have a decent career for yourself. Yeah, man, I hope to God this what I think isn't true, and he actually stays at the club. But if it isn't, it isn't, and I think it's time to face reality. I think the club are gonna let him go, sadly, and I feel this is a terrible decision, but it is what it is. On that note, people, deluded, comment, subscribe, and do the rest if you wish.